Hi, my name is DEVANEY, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Italian Feast of the Seven Fishes. More specifically, the history and origin of the feast, as well as some variants in menu. As it turns out, the Italian Feast of the Seven Fishes did not originate in Italy. It did, however, originate here in the United States by a group of Italian-American immigrants. Now, I'd like to reflect for a moment and share with you some personal disappointment that I felt when I discovered that piece of information at the onset of my research. Being of Italian descent and never having shared in the Feast of the Seven Fishes on Christmas Eve, I've always been very intrigued by how this tradition started, and it always felt to be so deep-rooted in Italian culture. So my disappointment was obvious. But what won out over my disappointment was my curiosity. So how could myself and so many other Americans believe this tradition to be from Italy when it was really in our own backyard? So I moved forward with my research. The Italian research at the Denver Library Genealogy Center did a study on the Feast of the Seven Fishes. And what their report showed was that the majority of Italian Americans in the United States are Roman Catholic. Now, in Roman Catholicism, it is a common practice to fast prior to receiving the sacrament of communion. So what does this have to do with the feast? What I did learn was that fast prior to communion does not require abstinence from seafood. So therefore, when these large Italian families were getting together on Christmas Eve to share in their meal together prior to attending their traditional midnight mass, they would have a banquet rich in seafood and not of any meats or poultry. So that leaves another question. Why the number 7? So according to the International Business Times, there are many references of symbolism to the number 7 in the Roman Catholic Bible. Too many to discuss here today, but I will share 2 of the most common with you. The first being that it took the Lord 7 days to create the heavens and the earth, and the second being that there are 7 sacraments in Roman Catholicism. Simple enough. So more research into the Feast of the Seven Fishes uncovered that there was really no steadfast rule to that number of fish, or the type of fish for that matter. According to Claire Bizard, who is a renowned chef and a contributor to GreatBritainChefs.com, Claire states that bacala, which is a very salty codfish, is the most commonly served fish at this feast across the United States. As it turns out, bacala is in very abundant supply, and it is also a very inexpensive fish. Therefore, when you're planning your menu and you have a large group of people coming over, bacala was a very economic way to go. But beyond that, as it turns out, the number of fish or the types of fish that one serves at this meal is really endless. There is no steadfast rule as to what the Feast of the Seven Fishes should encompass. So then what did we learn? Well, what we learned here is that the Feast of the Seven Fishes is really more of a time of gathering, a time to get together with your family and friends, to share in a good meal, while being able to stick to your traditions and your beliefs. So I invite you all to do this. Next Christmas, when you're planning your meal, give it a shot. Try to have a traditional Feast of Seven Fishes. And by traditional, I mean start your own tradition. Serve anything you want. Bacala, calamad, fish sticks, gumbo. The world is your oyster. You can create your own Feast of the Seven Fishes. Thank you. you.